Welcome back to the James Randolphini podcast, talking about all things James Randolph and James Gandolfini and what they have in common. We have not yet found anything, but today we got a guest, my friend, very funny comedian, Dan Donohue, coming all the way out from Buzzards Bay.
Who's James Randolph?
I was wondering that, right?
Did you just make that up?
Because there's Stephen Randolph, who's a LA comedian that I don't know personally. So I shouldn't bring him up. I don't know him personally.
I don't even know why you just brought him up.
But I think that was in my head, and then I think there's
just bring up a random person that you don't have anything bad or nice to say about.
I think he's funny as far as I know. He's a lot of good reviews from people I know. That's what I know about him. There's also James Baldwin, great Harlem Renaissance writer, and I think he got mixed in.
There's William Randolph Hearst.
Yeah, Citizen Kane.
Dude, fuck all that. What's up, my treacherous little twin?
It's wonderful to be here. Well, it's normal for me to be here. It's my podcast, but I'm sure it's wonderful for you. I tried to do some research on
to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I've known you for 4 years, but I watched a 3-minute video. Well, at first I started watching a video of a guy on YouTube that was going over a map of Buzzards Bay from 1920. It was a bird's eye view.
Couldn't have changed more
and
since 1920.
He was really bad at it. He was like, so there's some houses over here. He didn't know anything. He was just going through the map, and he's like, you can see New Bedford's over here. And I'm like, I can see. I don't need you.
Right.
I did watch a people's history of either New Bedford or Buzzards Bay. Well, New Bedford is it's around the bay.
Yeah.
Right? It's close.
Yeah.
So I watched it. Are you aware of the 1991 radio tower collapse?
Yes.
That was pretty big for you guys.
Yeah, well, so there was a woman who lived... So you know the history of the radio tower now, right?
I mean, I know it was one of the best... It could go like transatlantic almost.
People would show up in cars to listen to... would surround it because they would broadcast... they would amplify what was being broadcast.
Yeah.
I believe that had to do with Hetty Green, who's a very fascinating character out of New Bedford. Did you read about Hetty Green?
No, I watched a 3-minute video, and it was just one guy talking, and I think that guy just lives there.
Yeah, it's... in the radio tower?
No. I mean, they did, it was called A People's History.
Yeah.
And it was just one guy
person
who definitely just lives around there.
Right.
And he's describing it about this radio tower collapsing because of the storm, and then at the end, he's like... I used to throw icicles off there, 3-foot icicles. I thought I was going to get harpooned. So, honestly, I was pretty happy when it fell. I don't miss it a day. And it was weird, because at first it was like...
That's a people's history.
Yeah, it was like a slice of history. And then at the end, he's like, I don't miss that fucking thing.
I don't fuck with that thing one bit.
But it was like a pride and joy of the community. And he's like, there's Kapawaya going all under the ground over here, which I wonder if it's been dug up by...
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, if there's copper wire.
Because if I liked meth... then I'd be digging all over New Bedford.
Yeah.
Tons of copper wire there.
Yeah, just tons of shit in general. No, well, thank you so much for doing all of that research.
Well,
I really appreciate it.
I've known you for, 4 to 5 years now.
Yeah.
But I thought I should do, just so you feel comfortable.
So New Bedford is home to one of the most interesting historical figures of all time, Hetty Green, who...
I know that name.
The Witch of Wall Street is what they called her. She was a very fascinating character, the richest woman of that time in history, and also dollar for dollar, if you adjust for inflation, one of the richest women in history.
Didn't she become a recluse or something?
She always was. She was always, in her own ways, a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Now, that was also overblown by the media of the time, because obviously a rich woman who is a very shrewd negotiator is going to be painted as a piece of shit. But also, two things can be true at once. She was also a fucking nightmare.
Well, yeah, I think that's such I'm sure she was a nightmare in weird ways in her own right, but it's such a weird critique of very successful women at a time full of misogyny, where they're and she was also a bitch. And you're like, well, yeah. Because she was entering into a man's world. There's no way that she could be like, hey, guys, and everyone would be like, good to see you on Wall Street, Hetty.
Right. Well, she basically got her son's leg amputated needlessly. So
what was his problem?
He was a fucking anti-feminist, I'll tell you that much.
Couldn't kick a football?
Couldn't kick a football.
I'd amputate my son's leg.
You're not using it.
If I have a son, I want to be a football dad, but I'm going to like push him to be like a punter
Yeah.
and like somebody nobody respects on the team.
That happens now.
Actually, that's a good idea because like that's a pretty good way to get a kid into the NFL.
Yeah.
Cuz I'm not if I had a kid, they're not going to be big unless like Meredith has a big growth spurt or something. Like but
You think that would make your kid big?
I don't know. I'm just saying like if I were to breed with my girlfriend right now, we would have a small child.
Yeah.
But if I wanted him to get into the NFL, I would make him a punter.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's smart as fuck, actually.
But, dude, punters are fucking yoked now.
They gotta be big.
Well,
are they tall, though? Do they need to be tall?
I think so to see over the line. Yeah, that like, well, and they need long legs. Like a long leg and a long lever helps with a kick. But back to Hetty Green, her son, so she was like the cheapest person in history. And her son got gangrene in his leg because she wouldn't take him to a doctor. She just refused to spend the money to take him to a doctor. But to be fair, I think it was just mental illness because she also had hernias all over her stomach, like herniated like crazy. And she would not spend like the $50 to get the hernias fixed. She just walked around with hernias and she would just strap them down.
She would strap them?
Yeah, she would strap her hernias
like
down.
so they don't pop out?
Yes.
Like she would wear like a girdle?
Yes.
For hernia?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and those can
One sec.
necrotize. It's really fucked up. Oh yeah. But Hetty I think Hetty had something to do with the radio tower. It might have been something that was donated out of her trust because that was a big thing when she died. Her kids just spent every penny of her money.
Yeah, because she definitely wouldn't. Like, why would she build a radio tower?
Yeah, I don't
wouldn't
think she
care.
would. Yeah.
But she made money through stocks?
Yes. She was a great trader.
I feel like insider trading was just how trading was done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like most trading would be like, you'd go up to a guy and you'd be like, do you know anything? And they'd be like, yeah, this guy's cheating on his wife. And this is my friend at the New York Times. He's about to expose him. And you're like, oh, great.
Yeah,
Good
they're about
little
to come out
pump
with
and
this
dump?
thing called cornmeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put all our money in cornmeal.
Yeah, that's the insider trading. You're like, they made a bread slicer. It's about to blow up.
That's never going to fucking work. That's never going to work. You're crazy.
I play the stock market quite often in a game on my phone.
You're really upsetting.
I've made millions of dollars in the stock market, and I've gotten arrested and accused and beat cases for insider trading many times. It's a very in-depth game called BitLife where you can play the stock market, and if you start investing enough, you get tips from friends.
Right.
And they're like, they're about to introduce a new product. You got to buy in now.
Right. Do they have like high-end sex workers if you start doing good in the game?
Can you? Oh, no, but sometimes in the game, just randomly, they'll be like, you were walking down the street and a sex worker wants to solicit you.
Whoa, really?
So you can have the option to like ignore them, solicit them, or like attack them.
That is a very accurate Wall Street game now. When you're talking about guys on Wall Street,
Yeah.
attack them is absolutely an option.
What's fun is it's not even a Wall Street game. It's just one of the things you can do. So you can like kill your wife, go to jail, come back, start working the Wall Street, get some
I'm
money.
hearing very little about stocks right now.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you got to read. You know, there's a lot of stuff that comes into play. I like to put my money.
You can start an NFL career and then you can just play.
Yes. Yes, you can be a professional in most sports that have lucrative professional industries. The only problem with the game is you can't be in the Olympics, so runners have no shot.
Bullshit.
But I like to put my money in bonds.
Okay.
Do you invest? Do you invest?
I have like money in the stock market. Not really though. When
Like-
my dad died, there were like certain aspects of a portfolio left over, but I just leave it where it is. There's some guy who is siphoning off, I am sure, every penny of that money.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
That's my issue where it's like, oh, if you don't know how to do the stock market, like this guy will do it for you. And I'm like, but not like for me.
Right.
Like he'll take my money.
Right.
But it's not like he's like, oh, Cooper's going to make a bunch of money. Like, I guess, you know, if I make money, then I stay happy and he doesn't have to worry as much. But
Yeah.
like, he can also just lie to me.
Yeah, I mean, indexes are always like kind of a safe investment or whatever, but I really have no idea, and I also don't. I mean, or just like bury it under a mattress. But I don't. Here's the thing: we are going to make the wrong decision with our money, no matter what, just by virtue of who we are.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is
Yeah.
like I have this inheritance from my grandma that's like $56,000, I think.
Whoa.
I had to spend.
You're putting the money, and Cooper's putting the money for the pocket watchers out there. Cooper's putting that money out there.
It's just stuck in a bank account, and inflation is probably beginning to slowly kill it.
Sure.
But I need to put it into some sort of long-term thing.
Sure.
My thing is, it's on my dad's side of the family. And he was like, okay, so like we'll set up a Liberty Mutual account for you so you can like put it places, you know, and like put it in the market. And he was going to help me with that. But then also my stepdad is like, I have this lady and well, she's an accountant, but he's like, I got this lady.
Okay, well, you should have said accountant then.
I know, but I don't. He's like, I got this.
God, yeah, there's some fucking bitch.
Yeah, there's some.
She'll take your fucking money over here.
Some gal from around the way.
I know.
Tell you what, I don't know what she does with it, but she throws it on the corner.
There's some lady at a gas station I know. You think you could give her a few thou just to see what happens?
I'd like to throw down, but it was funny because he was like, yeah, I give her like stuff to invest, and she's like done really great for me.
Sure.
And I trust her. And he's like interested in money.
Sure.
Because he's like a businessman. I mean, he's not like a stock guy. But I kind of want to give her my money, but I kind of feel bad telling my dad, like, hey, stepdad has an idea.
Well, you should let the stepdad have an idea. Listen, many years ago, your mom had an idea, and now everyone's life is a little bit better because of it. You know what I mean?
It's a little bit better.
Other people's ideas matter.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, I understand the apprehension here, and it just to take a quick time out. I love having a financial conversation. Two people, we have no idea what the fuck we're talking about, and I am in a gray tank top that has not been mentioned yet on the podcast, and I do kind of feel like that's your job as the host.
Well, honestly, the people that are going to be watching this podcast are your fans. And then also a few of mine who are just our friends.
Yeah.
So everybody watching, they've seen it.
Yeah,
like this is so, you know what's so funny is when you started walking around in gray tank tops,
I started
casually.
Oh, wait. Oh, this is the picture I wanted to show you. Wait, and we'll put a pause in the financial conversation, but I do have to show you this. I went to the New Beverly, and
which is a movie theater.
A movie theater, yeah. And with my two friends, they both got up, and I had to claim our seats. So I had a flannel over this, literally the same outfit. And so I was just walking around the New Beverly in a tank top, and the New Beverly is just full of, like, film buffs.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
And I was having, this is a picture I took.
Were there people... Okay, so...
There's people in front of me, there's people behind me.
It's hard to show the camera, but Dan is in a movie theater, and he's in his seat, and he's flexing.
Yeah.
But he turned around towards the screen, which means there are seats facing you.
Yeah, there were guys looking directly at me while I flexed in a tank top at the New Beverly. But here's the thing. I would never do that if I didn't think it was funny.
Do you think they thought that you thought it was funny, or do you think that you were a jock and they were like, this jock just walked into a movie theater and this is what he does?
Here's what's funny is that is exactly what they thought, and that's what I love the idea of someone, and it was me. So I understand that this isn't the perfect, but anyway, I love the idea.
You got to do it.
Of going to the New Beverly and just being a rude jock. And I wasn't being rude to people, by the way. I wasn't getting into people's spaces, but there's something about being buff in the New Beverly that I think is so funny.
Well, what's funny about the New Beverly is it's owned by Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
And so it gets a lot of like his fans, which I think are usually not that all, I mean, I like Quentin Tarantino a lot, but like his fans are still dudes, but they're like pussies. And some of them could border on incel. So like
there's a good sized contingent, I would say. There's also a jock contingent of Quentin fans.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you just look like a guy that's in his movies. Like all you look like right now is just like the runner up for Bear Jew. You know what I mean?
Dude, that role would have, I mean, obviously I'm not Jewish, so it wouldn't have felt right, but I would have, I mean, if they gave that role, come on.
Do you know who was the first option?
Oh, tell me.
Adam Sandler.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
If Adam got jacked for a movie, that would be so sick.
I think he was literally like busy doing Grown Ups too.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because somebody like a film buff could make the argument of like, why would he not, like, what a terrible thing to pass up, you know? And it's like, but think about Adam's perspective. Yeah. It's like, can I hang out with my closest boys for a while?
With 8 of my best friends, and we all make $12 million. I mean, obviously Adam's making way more than that, but you get my point.
Because Adam is like an amazing actor, and I'm sure loves the process and loves working with new people. Yeah. But also, it's like the guy's like 50, so I'm sure he's not like, oh my God, the chance to work with Quentin Tarantino. He's like, I made the Hanukkah song. Like, my life's fine.
Play basketball with Quentin Tarantino. Like,
yeah.
There's no need for that. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone who's like shitty about that stuff, here's why Adam Sandler has such a sick life and career is because he doesn't have to give a shit about working with Quentin Tarantino.
No.
You know what he's already done? He was already the water boy.
Yeah.
That's enough.
That's enough.
And
that's not even his best movie.
We'll agree to disagree.
Is that what you think his best movie is?
I do love it.
I love it too. I watched it all the time. It was on Comedy Central like 9 times a week.
9 times a week.
So I'd watch it all the time, like the Adula Oblongata, and he doesn't know how to say it in the classroom.
Well, it's funny because he'll do like a silly comedy, like just kind of a silly family comedy, like Punch Drunk Love. But then every now and again, he'll do something that takes a little bit more intense thought, like Waterboy. And that's what's cool about him. Is he's like kind of...
Yeah, I thought you were going to say like an Uncut Gems or something. I think everybody
How do you mean?
Well, that was...
he can do like a silly family romp like Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
But then he can do like a heady, intense movie like,
Billy Madison.
Yeah, Billy Madison's in the canon. I mean, it's not...
Yeah. He dies in Uncut Gems.
It's minor. It's minor Sandler, but yeah, Billy Madison, I guess, is like an art film in its own way.
He gets murdered in that.
In Uncut Gems?
I'm trying to get the Safdie brothers to start directing my podcast. Because I love the tension they have. And
what do you think they would do?
Well, I would love if, like, mid-episode, if, like, somebody burst in and they were like, where's the money? You know, like, that kind of thing.
That would
and then,
be
like,
cool.
or, like, you go on the podcast and I'm like, thanks for coming on, but, like, I'm fucked right now, you know? And, like, you have to help me out or something.
I come up and there's noise in the bathroom and I'm like, what's that? And it's like, someone's fucking married in the bathroom.
Yeah. Somebody's fucking my girlfriend in the bathroom and it is ruining my life. But I'm like so like addicted to gambling that I like.
He's a guest on the podcast. I have to let him do it.
Yeah, like the theme of the podcast is like I'm addicted to gambling and like I cheat a lot, but it's just to get like blowjobs I can't come from.
Right.
And my girlfriend cheats all the time and hates me.
Yeah.
But like we live in like a house that's like really nice, but it just looks like a worse version of Tony Soprano's. You know,
Right.
it's not even like my house. You know, There's no like me in the house.
Sure.
Like it's just columns. You know, and like.
What's great about you is you could never be a gambling addict because the games themselves make you too frustrated.
You know what's so funny about gambling is there's literally no part of it I enjoy.
Yeah.
There's like none of it because every time I've told you this before, but like you and Nate and Will and all our friends have gotten really into gambling. So like sometimes I'll play with you and then
we get into poker and also gambling. I am a gambler. I do like to gamble.
You love to gamble.
I don't even know why I try to. Why I like gambling. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's natural that if you're into gambling, you immediately start talking like a gambling addict because you want to justify it in some way, and you don't need to me.
Yeah.
I'm fine with a vice.
Yeah.
And your vice involves math, so to me that's science. But
yeah.
I'll play with you guys, and then I'm like, oh, this is fun. And then I, like, 2 minutes in, I'm like, oh, wait, they do this all the time.
Right.
And I don't do this, and I don't care about it. And then that is when I will go, okay, I'm not going to quit. Let's try and learn a little. And then I'll ask Nate, and I'll be like, so what happens here? And then he'll go, okay, so there's... And then once he says, like, flop, my brain is just like, I get reminded. I go, oh, I don't give a fuck about this. Like, I think this is gay. Like, this fucking sucks.
Sure.
And then I go, oh, yeah, I don't like this. And I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
And it's going to take like 3 hours for this to be over. And if I play conservatively, all that's going to happen is I'm going to lose my money slower.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, time to go like half all in.
Right.
And then another half. And then I'm out. And then I go, well, once I'm out, whatever, I'm done. But then I get out and then I'm so much more angry than I thought I'd be. And then like we went up to Big Bear for a friend Eli's. I'm dropping so many names, dropping hard names. We went up to Big Bear for a friend Eli's birthday, and they all love poker, so obviously they brought poker, and we start playing poker. And I'm like the first out, and I just had to like move away from everybody in the cabin.
Yeah.
Where I was like, why'd I come up here? These are all liars.
Poker is a inherently divisive, alienating game that should never be played for like a silly fun.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. I'm like, wait, why was this fun? I'm like, what about this was fun?
No, it's not. It's a way for gambling addicts to feel like they're not gambling.
It's also a great way to feel good at gambling.
Yeah.
Like playing with me. Also, I was out and then like my girlfriend's there, so it's not like she gives a fuck. But in my mind, I'm like, I look like an idiot. And I'll tell you what, she played for a long time and she was really like, she played well, you know, for somebody that never plays poker. But when she did finally, all her chips were gone, I was like, fuck yeah. I was like,
you.
Yes. No, not fuck her.
Yeah.
But I was like,
right.
I'm like, I'm glad we both lost.
Yeah.
Because if she won, I'd be like, oh, you're going to leave me now?
Yeah.
You're going to leave.
Oh, great. I have to find a new girlfriend because you have to be good at poker.
It's really weird to be like 24 growing up in California in 2023, but still have the thoughts of like a very insecure, like short, bald man in the 20s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where it's like, why would she ever be with me?
No, I mean, we're still all fucked up.
Welcome back to the Gail Sayers Homosexual Sex Life podcast, talking about all homosexual experiences experienced by Gail Sayers, famous Chicago Bears running back.
Running back only played for, I think, 2 or 3 years professionally.
Is that true?
Yeah, he had a really serious injury that like cost him what would have been an insane, illustrious career.
He's one of the greatest we've ever known.
One of the most elusive running backs of all time.
Okay. This may or may not be 22 minutes into the episode or not, but my phone decided to be full of storage as I was recording, even though I've been freeing up space like a motherfucker.
I smell bad.
It's dank in here.
Well, I do appreciate you diverting it to the room, but I smell bad right now. I feel like something about having a gray tank top makes you smell a little bit worse.
Well, you wanted to record this podcast like 30 minutes later than the first plan so you could work out.
Yeah.
You didn't shower, did you?
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
But I'm stinky.
All right.
I shower and I'm still stinky.
I was golfing with my friend the other day, and he was drinking beers, and it was also hot, and I smelled something, and I'm like, that's not even beer, that's beer sweat.
Yeah, dude.
It's beer sweat.
I don't know what I eat, though, because I eat pretty clean. It's just, I think that there's just, like, something evil inside of me that comes out of the pores.
I think you work out too much, so your body's producing too much testosterone.
I don't work out too much.
But I'm saying you work out enough that your body's, like, producing more shit.
You know what's funny?
A fella like me.
I don't even know if I have high testosterone.
But doesn't working out a lot kind of increase that if you're like pumping all the time?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I read an article recently about how testosterone, like naturally occurring testosterone, is actually like not not the highest, most significant marker in the things that you think it is, like virility and energy and muscle mass and stuff. There's like multiple hormones that do that, but because injecting synthetic testosterone gives you those qualities, we think naturally occurring testosterone at a high level also gives you those qualities, but it's not necessarily true.
I think I have something in my pineal gland or some. I'm like producing.
Your pineal gland?
Yeah, you know the pineal gland.
You know pineal gland or your pineal gland?
I've heard people call it penal.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one in like your third eye area.
I thought it was back here.
Oh, I don't know.
There's one back here that like releases a lot of stuff. I got some tests back from the doctor, and it said I was producing a little too much T.
Oh, too much testosterone.
But I was like, is this like worrisome? He's like, it's not enough that it's like a problem. But
Yeah.
at first, I thought that it wasn't enough,
Yeah.
and I Googled symptoms of that, and I was like, I feel like that might be my issue. I feel sluggish. And then I emailed him, and he was like, no, you read the test wrong. It's the opposite. And I was like, damn, I'm too pumped up.
Yeah, you got
I'm too
much.
jacked.
You're too strong.
That's
dude.
awesome.
Oh yeah, baby.
I
Maybe
did
that's
want-
why you're able to drink and do drugs so much.
I don't drink that much.
Not anymore, but you used to.
I mean, I was drinking like
Oh, come on.
I had a 3. It's not even that, because it's honestly, it's like you judge. Like the reason I think LeBron James, and I don't watch a lot of basketball. The reason I think he's
Okay, time out. I know you are about to divert. When you start bringing up LeBron James when we're talking about your drinking, I know you're about to divert to such a high magnitude it's going to be asked. It's going to be crazy.
I'm going back to myself, and I'm not even comparing myself to LeBron James. So I'm very likable and charming.
Go ahead.
The reason I think he's the greatest basketball player is not just because of what he's done, but the fact that he's done it for so long and still performs at such a high level. And I don't think I have that prowess in drinking, where it's like, if we want to talk about drinkers like a Bert Kreischer, he's been like partying for so long, but he's still performing at such a high level. I'm like a Gale Sayers, where it's like...
You're a Gale Sayers. I was just going to say that.
I only had like a few month run of drinking like at least 4 drinks every single day. And that was it. Like, that was all I did.
I would say there were I would say you had a couple campaigns. You had a few solid marches into France as Napoleon.
But it wasn't even like benders. It was like I would just go to work and then I would just drink like 6 doubles of Makers throughout the night, which is like close to tennis shots with how those are being poured. They're just heavy pours. But like, you got to realize it's like, if you're just like taking a shot of bourbon like every half hour, it's like, it's not the craziest thing in the world. You just feel like a Civil War general.
See, it's unfathomable to me because I've never drank regularly at any point in my life, so I don't really have like any sort of barometer for it. But when you say 10 shots, that might kill me.
No, you could take it.
I don't think so.
You throw up. You'll be fine. I throw up all the time.
I've thrown up after like 2 drinks.
Yeah, well, because your body's not like maybe acclimated enough to the alcohol, but it will acclimate to the poison. And also, you might not have like a history of that in your family that's prepared you to be good at it.
Oh no! I am breaking a long and powerful lineage. Oh yeah.
Oh okay. So yeah. See, the new generation's soft.
Yeah, we're soft.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the first time I got drunk?
Maybe.
I threw up harder and more powerfully because first time I got drunk. We drank rum and beer, and I was 16, 17. And there was a girl in my neighborhood who
there always?
There always is. Well, that's not where the story goes. But she was like, I want to go home. Could someone walk me home? She was with her friend, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll walk you guys home. So I walked them home, which is about like mile and a half, right? But safe roads, right? So I get there.
You don't want to walk.
Well,
not when you're drunk. You don't want to walk.
So I have to walk back, and I go, well. Walk back. I'm as virile as a fox with a goddamn syringe in its arm.
Not on the sauce.
Let's jog.
See, that's where you're dumb.
Yeah.
That's why you can't drink a lot is you keep trying to be an athlete.
Yeah. So I ran.
Of course you threw up.
Quickly.
You probably wouldn't have if you didn't jog.
A mile and a half, and I emptied the contents of 2 stomachs.
Did you have the kind of throw up where it's like really fast? Where like you don't even like maybe you just kind of that thing you can do? Yeah. I'm really good at throwing up. But that thing you can do where you don't even have to put your finger in the back of your throat, you just go like and then it tells the stomach like let's do it.
Oh, there was no finger. Yeah, no, it was the kind of throw up where I don't remember much from that night, but I remember halfway through I was like there is no way I ate this much.
But it's really fast, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, it is exciting.
Like, if you have like a lot of bourbon in your stomach and you've already gotten drunk and now like the getting drunk part is over, it's just starting to turn on you. That is when I like to throw up. Yeah. Because I'll do a thing that's not healthy. But if I've drank a lot during the night, once I get back home, if I'm like, well, I've already gotten drunk off this liquor, it's just going to hurt me now, but it's still in my stomach. Let's just get it out.
Right.
And then I just go, brr! And just, it's so exciting when it just pops out of you. And then you see all that demon juice flood out of you. And then you feel kind of an emptiness and a slight headache in your head, but you know that it can't hurt you anymore.
I got a big headache. To this day, I still get sick whenever I walk a woman home. No, I'm kidding. Whenever I see rum.
Really?
Yeah.
Rum specifically?
Rum.
I have that experience with the smell of a bong.
Go on.
Water in a bong, because
you used to drink so much of it.
I never did that. We had a friend that did that, and now
everybody
he's
does.
Getting a doctorate or something.
Yeah.
But he was so smart that he could party.
Yeah.
But we would take like light blue American spirits and then cover the bottom of the bowl and then we would take weed, usually an indica, and then cover that. And then not everybody, but I would take the American Spirit again, and then I would cover all of the weed. So you have a sandwich of like tobacco, weed, tobacco, and then you take it all at once.
Yeah. And
it hits you, and I call it the heroin of weed.
Yeah.
Because it knocks you out and it makes you sick.
How old were you?
I mean, this was from like, I don't know, 15 to 17.
It's so funny because that age range,
almost every day, I'd say.
There's such a fork in that age range because at that age range, you're either doing what you were doing or learning the piano. And there's no like...
I was playing guitar.
Yeah.
I was doing cool shit.
That's true.
You know? But it got to a point where I would, every time I did... Because usually I would go to school and I'd smoke 2 spliffs in the morning before speech and debate. And then I would take about...
Wait. What do you mean before speech and debate?
Speech and debate was an early class before the school was really open. So me and my friend would meet up. I'd pick him up. We'd go in my car.
High school?
Yeah.
Speech and debate, wow.
And then we'd smoke 2 spliffs, and then we'd go to speech and debate.
What was it like doing speech and debate off 2 spliffs?
Well, spliffs, it's not like regular weed because of the tobacco. It actually gets you in the zone.
Okay.
So you just go in and you're just belligerent.
Right.
Because the way to practice speech and debate, there's not really wrong as long as you're like putting in effort. So like you would just like belligerently debate people and like, you know, be kind of mean. Like I remember like there was like a girl in my class in the speech and debate class, and they're like, we're going to do a mock debate. And I was like, okay, what should the topic be? And I knew her favorite band was 21 Pilots, right? That band. So I was like, why not 21 Pilots? She defends 21 Pilots, and I hate it. And then we did that. I remember we were in the class where you're allowed to interrupt, and she started making a case for 21 Pilots, and then I just started yelling one of their songs where I was like, wish I could turn back time to and just, you know, high at like 7 a.m, which I missed that of having to get up every day for school where like 7 a.m. was just like, this is when I'm up, right. You know, like I don't know that time anymore. I don't know what goes on at that time anymore, but I'd do that. And then at lunch, I would take about 2 of those chops or mooks, we'd call them, or mokes, a lot of different words for it. And then after school, maybe do the same thing. And then sometimes at night, I'd meet up with my friend Noah, and then we'd take more. And I remember at night when we had a run of seshing like that, I would throw up almost every time.
Session.
Yeah, session. You get the session. But I would throw up almost every time. And now, whenever I smell like dank bong water, I'm like...
You would throw up from weed.
Well, it's weed and also like a bunch
tobacco.
Of, like half of a cigarette at once.
Yeah.
So eventually your body is like, we're done. And then you go for like 3 more months.
I love the idea of whatever because I didn't have speech and debate. I love the idea of the teacher that was like, we should have speech and debate. It will teach kids to communicate with one another. It will teach them to learn how to examine ideas that maybe are not their own. And then just 2 white morons just start screaming. Just thinking about the teacher being like, no.
Well, what's funny though is the guy that I would smoke with before, he got me into speech and debate, and he was the leader of the class, and he was the best debater. And he went on to Berkeley and studied political economy and studied in Israel and parts of the Middle East for a while.
Whoa.
And he's like the most intelligent person I know.
Yeah.
But he just also at that time liked to smoke weed.
Right.
So he wasn't necessarily like, he would actually debate people, and I would do literally the same form of debate that Trump does.
Yeah, I know that. I guess just you then.
It's just me. Yeah. So like we would have speech and debate shows, and I remember like we debated peeing in the shower, and I was against my friend Kogan, and it really it's his last name, but that's what we called him. It spoke a lot to like energy and also how you present yourself, right? I watched the video back, and it's very embarrassing, but I was holding a yardstick, and I was using that a lot of visual pageantry, but he was on the side of not peeing in the shower. I was on the side of peeing in the shower. And then very quickly in the debate, I was like, I'm not on the side of peeing in the shower. I'm pro-choice. I'm like, I'm on the side of you have the option to pee in the shower if you want to, because we live in a free country. And he is going against the tenets of our own Constitution, saying that you don't even have the right. So I'm like, I'm not telling you to pee in the shower. I'm telling you can and should be allowed to.
Right.
And so at that point, you're no longer debating the actual topic. You don't have to defend peeing in the shower. You just say, this guy's trying to take your freedom, and I'm trying to preserve it. And then when Trump was getting elected, I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to win.
Right.
Because that's what you do. Because there's no beating that.
Right.
Like, if you actually, like, Hillary was too smart. You know, she was pro 21 pilots.
Just for the record, I do think Biden did beat him.
Biden did beat him.
Yeah.
But it's because that form of debate, it does get old.
Sure.
Like, it's hard to do twice.
Sure.
It's hard to do that form of debate when then have a pretty controversial presidency and then come back and do the same thing.
That form of debate really works when there's no one can even call on anything for you to back it. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's a really good form to be like, you suck at this. You don't do anything. You suck.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what about? It's like I've never been president, but I'm going to be great.
That's great. Trump is the best at getting elected president the first time. He's so good at it.
Yeah.
But once you have 4 years of being president, then people can be like, what about the last 4 years? And like that bullshitting can kind of only... It only goes, he can kind of only say shut up, which like for his form of debate is the right answer.
Right.
But it's like, you either actually debate the topics, which is what they want you to do in speech and debate, or you fucking win.
Right.
You know, and it's like, so it's one or the other. That's why I did speech more. I don't like debate. I don't like debate because I like to go on stage and just say what I think and have everybody agree with it.
Yeah, when someone starts disagreeing, it gets a little touchy.
That's why I don't do crowd work. That's why I don't like hecklers. It's like, no, I'm doing speech right now, not debate.
I started doing crowd work in Boston.
Should be illegal.
Did a little bit of crowd work. Sat on the stool, did crowd work. I showed you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I hope everybody watching realizes the magnitude of that. Sitting on the stool in stand-up comedy is usually something that is only not judged when you are like a legend in comedy.
Right.
Who's also preferably old and kind of sitting on the stool would help.
Yeah.
And also crowd work is like a pretty, I don't know, like braggadocious almost way to do stand-up.
No,
you know what I
mean? that's on some white bullshit.
I mean, I think crowd work
that's on some white ass bullshit.
I don't think crowd work is inherently bad, but I do think it is a certain kind of confidence to be like, I'll just fucking talk and then you guys, this will be funny.
Well, a certain kind. I mean, it's a certain kind of confidence to go up and do material.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But to be like, I bet I could talk to you and this would be funny. Like, I mean, there's ways to not do it like a douchebag, for sure, 100%. I don't think crowd work is bad at all.
Sure.
But sitting on the stool and doing crowd work,
that's the best.
That's like you're Joseph Goebbels. Like, that's like absolute.
Felt so good.
That's the problem, is it feels way too good for the comedian to do.
It felt so. I was just sitting down and just kind of like,
see, that's
nice shoes, dude.
I like stand up where it's like I'm standing up here and I really want to make you guys laugh and I feel very vulnerable.
Yeah.
But something about sitting down and doing crowd work is
wanted
almost,
people to laugh. I just wanted to
of course,
put my little tushy on the stool, see how it felt.
Take your ass off the stool. You work out so much and you for some reason more than any.
When I stand up, I think it's too imposing for people. When I'm sitting down, they go, maybe I could attack him.
You do workouts that like guys in obscure Olympic events do, where you'll be like, I'm practicing my grip strength. And I'm like, you don't even need that.
Well, no, you do. Grip strength is incredibly important to overall strength.
Yeah, I mean, like, nobody cares. You know what I mean? It's like you do, which is how I know you love working out, that you work out stuff that doesn't even get you pussy. Like, you work out stuff that's just like, dude, my thumb is so much stronger.
Dude, if a girl saw the kind of pounds per square foot I'm pulling with my grip strength, I think that maybe they would get a little bit intrigued.
Yeah, you do have that. He has a machine where you grab it and it shows the pressure.
I bring it to open mic sometimes. It's awesome.
Yeah, you really push the bars on if you should be allowed at an open mic.
Yeah. When I started bringing the kettlebell, I think people kind of got upset.
It was kind of weird because you were like you were just like a nice guy.
I still am.
And no, totally.
What the hell?
You still are. Let me finish. You were a nice guy. People on the east side did judge you because you were buff.
Yeah.
But then they heard your words and your voices and you had conversation with them and they realized you're a really nice guy. And once you turned that corner of being accepted, you immediately started bringing... immediately. Like next day, brought a kettlebell.
Became their worst nightmare.
Just went full Rogan on everybody.
Well, it's not. Here's the thing. I don't even think Rogan would be bringing workout.
He's a professional.
No. That's why the reason I really liked it. A couple of reasons. One, I think it points at the absurdity of the current landscape of stand-up comedy.
Oh, so you were being subversive.
I was being subversive. Well, and I mean this. People don't understand, especially back then when more people in LA were doing comedy. Now no one in LA is doing stand-up. Like, even the people who are doing stand-up comedy will do like the Laugh Factory twice and then go back to whatever kind of commercial acting they're doing.
Yeah,
So
nobody. Yeah,
that's what people.
yeah. Nobody does stand up.
95% of the people who do stand-up comedy will do 2 Comedy Chateau spots, 2 Laugh Factory spots somehow, and then we'll go back to commercial acting, which is, by the way, commercial acting, a better and honestly more dignified form of making money.
Nowadays.
Yes.
I mean, not actually, but, you know.
I for the most part, I mean, when you look at what most people do on stage and then you look at commercial acting, it's like there's more dignity in the commercial acting.
I was going to say stand-up is more dignified because at least you're saying things that are true to you, but most people don't do that.
And how many people are doing that?
Nobody.
Thank you. So
yeah, nobody does that.
When now, like back when I was bringing kettlebells to open mics, which I was doing, and I was also bringing boxing gloves at certain points. And
You were fighting on the patio of like an East Side pussy mic.
I brought dumbbells once to an open mic, okay? And we did break a light once because we were doing kettlebell swings too ferociously. But
I remember you being asked to leave the patio of the Lyric Hyperion because you were working out on it.
Yeah, and then we went to the sidewalk.
While people were like writing scripts.
Yeah, and then we were working out on the sidewalk.
And they didn't want you on the sidewalk either.
But they can't get you off the goddamn sidewalk.
They can't.
Okay, we can still do that in this country.
They probably Googled if they could.
Yeah, and then they came up with all the NIMBY shit that comes up when you say, "Can I get someone off the sidewalk?" And they were like, "Oh, well, this doesn't align with our politics, so fuck you. I'm going to do kettlebell swings on the sidewalk anyway." So, we were stuck at because this is when I first moved to LA, so I wasn't shit. And the guy I was mostly working out with, Malik, had moved to LA semi-recently, and he wasn't shit. So we were waiting in line at these open mics, or waiting in the bucket at these open mics, where they were pulling. It wasn't even just like a 1 out of 50 chance, because they were pulling their friends before they pulled us, which is just kind of how open mics work. Yeah. So we would be stuck at, if we want to do 3 spots, 3-minute spots, 9 minutes of stand-up comedy in a night, we would end up waiting for, this is not an exaggeration, you can attest to this, 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, it was like 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. was the time.
I can't find time to work out.
Yeah.
I worked a job and I went straight to open mic, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to bring the kettlebell. I'm going to work out at these open mics,
yeah.
Okay? Sorry.
But when you explain that, people hate that explanation so much more. Like, I just can't find the time to work out.
I can't find the time to work out, so I'm going to do it at this open mic. I'm so sorry that you've decided to not utilize this 2.5 hours that you have, and also I'm having fun doing it. Okay,
you're having too much fun.
No such thing.
You're having too much fun. No such thing.
If you're on the side of saying that other people are having too much fun, you're on the side of evil. I like doing kettlebell swings. I'm not hurting anyone except that one guy that I did hurt by swinging, and I am sorry, and that's it.
I think I'm on the side of too much fun when people are trying to write scripts nobody will ever read, and you're grunting so loud.
I'm not. Okay, so let's be fair here.
It was loud.
It wasn't that loud.
You can't quietly work out with a kettlebell on a coffee patio.
It only got loud when they told us to leave the patio, and then we went on the sidewalk and started to use the boxing mitts. Then it did get loud, but whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
It also wasn't even the working out that was really loud. It was more so like the
motivation,
the chest puffing that comes out. Because you and Malik would work out, but you were constantly competing against each other. So it wasn't like really grunting. It was more like Malik being like, "Man, I can do like 10 reps of those." And you were like, "No, you can't."
Yeah,
and it was like immediate yelling.
Yeah,
it's the only way you can respond to that.
Dude, that was so fun. Do you remember at the that late night mic?
West Side.
No. Oh no, West Side was funny too. No,
you mean Pack Theater?
Pack Theater.
Yeah, I do.
You remember the Pack Theater when we were working out in the hallway and I broke a light with the kettlebell and then we had to sweep it up, and then a woman came out and was like, "Hey, you guys can't work out in here." And we were like, "Sorry." And she was like, "But you can work out back." And then me and Malik worked out back for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because I think the out back was kind of her way of trying to be nice, but really telling you to stop work out.
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh, great, there's a spot out back.
No, she was so like, hey, guys, like, you can't work out inside. I mean, like, if you wanted to, like, I guess you could work out.
If you were fucking insane enough to continue.
And we were like, oh, yeah, we'll go out back.
Yeah, it's an independent theater space. And the only reason she spoke to you nicely is because you guys were weapons.
Right.
At the open mic. Like, Malik is a trained boxer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, almost professional boxer, which means he can...
Was a professional boxer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry, respect on Malik. Which means that even if he wasn't professional, still even being slightly under that level means you can beat anybody in a fight.
You can beat anyone in a fight.
Like, if it was me doing it, she'd be like, what the hell?
Right.
But with her, she's like, all right, these are guys, they're jacked up.
Yeah.
I don't know how they feel about hidden ladies. They might feel fine about it, so I got to come in soft...
Right.
To not get rocked.
Well, and we were very respectful, but
and that's the funniest part, to be doing something so outlandish and then be like, "Oh yeah, very sorry about that." It's like, what do you? You're already being a dick.
I'm not.
You're being a dickhead already.
Everyone else is okay. It's the same thing as like people feel comfortable smoking in public but not stretching in public. Why do you feel more comfortable smoking? Because of social norms, baby, okay? And LA is all about breaking those, okay? That's why people move here, is because where they're from is too restrictive. And they want to be free and express themselves. And that is exactly what me and Malik were doing. We were being free and we were expressing ourselves.
Do you think working out on the street is more accepted in LA than it would be in New Bedford, Massachusetts?
Yes.
Really?
In New Bedford, Massachusetts, they would call the fucking cops on you. Yeah, they don't even know what a kettlebell is. They're like, oh, there's two guys with like some weird bomb we've never seen before.
I guess, yeah, people kind of work out by just going to their regular job there. Yeah. Right? That's kind of the workout.
Oh, or they just don't.
They just don't.
You know, yeah.
Where do you think people in America work out the most? Do you think it's like LA?
Oh, that's a really great question.
Like and not just the kind of like people getting yoked. I mean, people staying in shape and hitting the gym.
No, I don't think it's LA. I really don't know. I think it's probably like per capita.
Miami.
Again, no, because you have to think of like there's a working class demographic there in like all the like LA and Miami that just don't like, they're just having fun and they're not partying, or they have like a working class job where it doesn't allow them to really work out. I would probably say it's somewhere like Boulder, Colorado, like per capita.
Oh, you mean of just people, regular dads hitting the gym every morning?
Everybody.
To hit the elliptical.
Or like the psycho hikers and the psycho like...
That is working out too.
Yeah, exactly. The psycho kayakers and stuff. I think that's a big percentage.
I think the gym culture, though, has to be biggest in LA.
Gym culture, yeah, but just because there's so many people. Yeah, absolutely.
Gold's, Muscle Beach.
Yeah.
Every gay gym in LA. Like, the gyms are...
Still Golds.
Gyms are... Yeah, so still Golds.
Yeah,
so
still Golds.
Gyms are a big part of LA culture, where it's like being a hot influencer.
Yeah.
Being generally gay.
Yeah.
Wanting to be a movie star.
You're not into the a gym gaze, though. When you're looking at a man in a sexual way, you're not into a gym guy.
I think I'm kind of like when it comes to fellas.
Yeah.
And not that I've really experienced this, but I think I'm kind of like a lady, where I might say I'm into a certain type of guy, but if some buff guy came up and was like,
really charming,
you want to try this out?
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah. I don't know, like,
I could get picked up.
Yeah, just don't be mean to me,
yeah,
but like,
be nice.
Like, I'll try it out, you know, like, I'm sure, there's definitely, I mean, I've jerked off to all types of men. I really, like, skinny guys are great. And in person, when I was single, I would like to fuck guys that I could kill, because it made me feel safe.
Right.
Because you haven't experienced this, but like, it is interesting. The first time you meet up with a guy, you're like, fuck, like a dude's coming over.
Yeah. Not
like a lady, like a dude. He could turn on me, and now I got to fight a guy, which is probably not going to happen. But as a man, you know, it's always like...
No, that is so fascinating. I think
you know what I mean? So that's part of it.
I think that probably gives you like a really high level of empathy too in that way.
It's made me understand sex for a woman a lot more.
Right.
Because like as a man, it's so much easier. I couldn't imagine being a woman going over to a guy's apartment, just being like, I fucking hope he doesn't kill me.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with a guy, but it's more like, I hope he doesn't fight me because I still got a shot here.
Right.
So that's the thing. Like with a big buff guy, it's like I could let a big buff guy throw me around and fuck me and shit. But if he started like calling me a bitch or something,
oh yeah,
and then I was like, hey man, like I'm not really into that. Like,
right.
you know, I'll let you be on top, whatever, but like don't call me a bitch. If then he was like, no, then I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna leave. And then if he was like, I don't want you to leave,
well, that's just assault.
now I'm exactly. But that's what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
what if it turns and then it's like, you know, it's like
No, that is
talk about a big guy, you know?
It's so funny because like if you're a straight guy, I think it's rare that you actually put yourself in the shoes of like, because if you're a straight guy and you know like, oh, I'm not the kind of guy that would ever do anything like, you know, bad to a woman that came over, it's like she doesn't know that and there's no way for her to know.
No.
So like I think there is this like kind of negligence in that way of being, you know, I think as you get older you learn more and more, but like when you're younger I think it is very easy to be like, oh, like why not just come over or whatever, like why not? And it's like, oh, because you're a fucking potential threat.
Yeah. So you got to hope guys are cool. But I mean, honestly, the hottest thing in the world is like, is this guy going to kill me? You know what I mean? Like that gets people going. So I remember like, I think it's honestly like, yeah, I'll fuck dudes, but there's still a lot of internalized homophobia in me. So I think that's why I'll fuck skinnier dudes.
Right.
Because like I remember like I was fucking a guy and like he was going to the gym a little and he wasn't buff. He was still like twinky, but like he was getting toned. And I remember feeling his arms and thinking that was hot and then being like, you fucking faggot. You know what I mean? Like that was gay as shit to think. Like while having like he was inside of me and I was like, what are you, gay?
Yeah.
Like, you know? And I remember one time I went to his house and I had bailed on him a couple times and I think he was a little pissed that I'd bailed on him. And, you know, usually there'd be a conversation of like, who's going to take the dick tonight? You know what I mean? Sometimes you switch off.
Who's gonna take the dick tonight?
Usually there was a little conversation, but after like foreplay, he just kind of put on the condom and seemed a little pissed. And not like pissed, but like a little more like, I'm going to fuck you. Yeah. And then he fucked me and was like a little less nice about it. And there was a part of me as a man that was like, why the fuck am I letting this guy push me around? But then there's the other part of me that was like, this is hot as hell. Like, this guy's kind of mad at me. Like, whoa, like, look at you fucking me all angry.
Yeah.
So there's that part of it, which is very exciting, you know? And luckily, I trusted him. He was a nice guy. I knew he wasn't actually going to hurt me.
I guess that's the thing is like you need a level of trust.
But yeah, and we had hooked up before, you know, so like that was fine. But like if I went out to a gay bar and there was like a very like, because it's weird, a lot of the things that maybe could attract you to somebody could eventually get you into trouble. Or like if you're at a gay bar and some big buff guy comes up to you and he's like, I like you, I want you, you want to go home? You could be like, oh, okay, you know, and then you go home. But then all of a sudden, like that kind of pushes to a part where he's like, I'm going to do it, whatever I want. And then you're like, oh, no, I didn't. I thought the regular rules of consent still applied. But now I'm realizing this isn't so much of an act for you and this is kind of how you are. And that scares me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because like when you're in a relationship, if you have like rough sex, it's like great. Because, like, she knows you're not going to fucking kill her. But you're like, I'm going to fucking kill you. You know what I mean? Like, you say it, but she knows you don't mean it because you love each other. You know what I mean? But if you're in a one-night stand with a guy, there's also, like, you know, gay cultures, you know, it's more flagrant. You know what I mean? Sometimes even still because of it being taboo. So it's like there are levels to which it's like, is this... And real people really show themselves during sex. So you're like, is something else going to come out of you? Because this is spooky.
Right.
You know? So there's, you know... There's levels you have to run with it. But I don't know. I bet like if Meredith broke up with me, I would probably go fuck a guy I didn't usually fuck maybe after a few months getting over the relationship just to try it out.
Yeah, just see what it's like.
I remember I messaged with a very buff, taller man on Grindr.
Yeah.
And it was funny because he was like, yeah, why don't we go to coffee first and meet each other? And I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've gone for it.
I thought I hooked up with a woman for the first time who was taller than me.
How was that?
Great. I had no,
you thought about it.
Not, when we were like walking from one place to another, it did like I was like, oh, she's taller than me, but it didn't hit me in this. Honestly, I was more prepared for it to be a factor But I've dated women who are the exact same height as me, but it is a little different. Like,
Yeah.
when they're the exact same height as you, you can kind of be like, oh, well, maybe I'm a little taller. But then when someone
Yeah.
who's like just legitimately
Just definitely
taller than
taller.
you, yeah.
Yeah.
But as a 4'5" man, which I am, I do find it to be a little difficult finding women that are shorter than me.
4 foot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's tough. You'd be dating little people, I guess.
Yeah, I
you
guess
are
so.
a little yeah, I mean at that point you'd have to find like the smallest dwarf out there, which would be tough.
That would be tough.
Could date a little person. It is weird. It's weird. It's like even though I came out with queer, it's still hard to accept certain parts of it.
Like
You
how?
still feel gay for it. Like just like letting a guy like be the dominant one is like you're still like there's still this part of you that's like you're not a man anymore. But you're also like I'm also agreeing to do this. So any of that stuff is not really here.
But that's the thing with like
I let this happen.
that's the thing with culture, like in a lot of places where it's like even if you are gay or engaging in queer sex, you're like, yeah, but I'm not going to be gay about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be gay about this gay sex I'm having.
Which sucks because like when you finally let that stuff go, you come harder than you've ever come before.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I've had some amazing comes just by breaking down homophobia.
Yeah.
Because that's also what's hot about it is like the world hates you for it.
I guess
Even nowadays. Like I know it's not like the 80s.
Yeah.
But like it's crazy to be like getting fucked by a guy and being like, damn, some people want to behead me for this.
Yeah, a lot of people.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it's like really exciting. Like gay sex in like the 70s, like before AIDS, but when it was still taboo, like that was probably the hottest sex that's ever existed.
Interesting.
Because it's like I snuck out of my parents' house to go to a gay bar, and now this guy is fucking my ass in the bathroom, and I feel like I have no control. But really, I'm sure if I told the fella, hey, I'm done, he'd be nice about it.
Right.
But it's like you come harder than ever because it's your...
And I feel like a real person or a whole person for the first time in my life.
Yeah. You just got to remember that you are letting it happen.
Yeah.
You're like, he's not really taking... I'm letting this guy. You know what I mean?
Do you have to remind yourself of that?
I think as a man with insecurities about it.
Yeah.
I think women don't because they understand the power of it, where they're like, this fucking guy thinks he's on top, when really I'm giving him my pussy.
Right.
Like, I have the power here.
Right.
Like, I'm giving him, and if I take it away, he's going to freak out to the point he would be violent. You know what I mean? But it's like, really, it's like, I got all the power here because I got the thing that he wants. And I'm going to let him pretend that he's taking it from me because it's hot to him and hot to me. And, it's like taboo stuff. But really, I got all the power here.
Very interesting.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like being like, hey, I got this sandwich. You want to eat it? And then he's like, yeah, oh yeah, look, I'm eating your sandwich. And meanwhile, you're like, this is what makes me come, is watching you eat the sandwich. And I made the sandwich. And you wouldn't even have the sandwich if I didn't make it. So really, I run this situation.
Whoa.
I'm just letting you eat the sandwich.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
I never thought of it that way.
That's why, like, sex-wise and stuff, it's like really guys, like, you have to remember that, like, it's very kind of boyish and laughable when you are, like, the rough one. And, like, the reason women think it's really hot is because deep down, when they trust you and love you, they know that you're playing a part and they're letting you play it. So they're not like, of course, that the parts are being activated of like, ooh, big, strong guy taking me over. But it's also like, oh, yeah, it's nice to see him play tough guy.
And to know that you're in reality safe.
Exactly. That's why you do it, because truly they know underneath it all, it's all an act. And that's always the funny thing to me with rough sex, is like realizing that it can almost be embarrassing, where you're like, well, thank God that we're in agreement and this isn't embarrassing. Because really I'm like acting almost.
Yeah. There's that whole thing, like that schism in feminism where like Andrea Dworkin was like, oh yeah, like rough sex is actually really bad. And it's like, I don't agree with it, but it is an interesting like concept.
I don't think it's really bad, because I think you're both consenting to play a part.
Of course.
You're mimicking things. I mean, that's why people with like a lot of sexual trauma will be into rough sex, because the act of having rough sex is cathartic, because now it's consensual. So the one thing that has brought you shame your entire life, you are now allowing to happen to you from a trusted person, and that makes you come so hard.
Yeah, that's why whenever I have sex, I ask the woman to ask me to spell things.
And that I don't like that.
Why not?
Like physical domination is something I can understand. You know what I mean? Like that time I was fucking that guy and he was a little mad at me. I was like, oh, this is hot. Like this guy's mad at me. But like if a lady's ever like, oh yeah, you're stupid dick. I'm always like, I don't have a stupid dick. I don't like psychological.
Someone's told you, oh yeah, I guess, no, a woman has told me I have a stupid dick, actually. She said, something, your big stupid dick. And
that's different, yeah.
Well, but it's still like, why did you say that?
Yeah, when women go for that thing where they're like, oh yeah, you really think you're going to make me come? Like maybe they'll try that out with you to see if you like that.
I've never had that one.
I've been with women who have just tried to see if I'm into that. Like they don't mean it, but they're trying to see if that part is, and I have to stop and I'm like, oh no, I don't like being humiliated.
No, I like being humiliated. I like when a woman's like, do your taxes. Why haven't you done your taxes?
Yeah, like just real normal stuff.
Yeah, why haven't
like they look over and they're like, look at all those dishes in the fucking sink.
Why is there clothes on the floor?
You don't know how to clean anything. Yeah.
No,
I was with a lady one time and she was like, oh yeah, is that all you want? Yeah, you just want to fuck, and like kind of calling me dumb, like all I want to do is fuck.
That's cool.
And it was really funny because I was also high at the time, which is really bad for like a kind of role play-ish setting, because she was like, yeah, you just want to fuck, that's all you want. And in my head I was like, I'm so much more than that. I was like, I don't think of you that way. Like, do you think that? And you almost want to stop and be like, seriously?
Hey, excuse me, time out. I contain magnitudes.
It's like we have a lot of great conversations about really interesting societal topics.
I went to college.
I went to college. I have a bachelor's.
Excuse me. I went to college.
I took existentialism, okay?
That, just on its own, that would be such a funny thing to say during sex.
I went to college.
Oh, yeah. I went to college.
Yeah, that would be sick, actually, if you're pumping yourself up. Instead of being like, you like that big dick, you're like, I fucking went to all 4 years.
I got a degree.
I graduated on time.
Oh, my professors loved me.
Did you graduate on time?
Yeah.
What's up with people that don't?
I have a really funny story of my graduation day. I didn't go to my graduation. Did you go to your graduation?
It was a pandemic, so it was on Zoom.
Oh, right.
We had like a family party, but there was nowhere to go.
No party. Didn't go to the graduation. I was doing a open micer show at this like person's basement or whatever.
Okay.
And while I'm on, the power went out, so we're doing it by candlelight. We're doing like an open mic by candlelight at a person's show or a person's house. It was pretty fun. And
yeah, that seems fun.
During my set, I get a text from my dad that said, "Did you graduate?"
Because he heard the graduation was happening?
Well, he just didn't know. He was just like, "Did you graduate?"
Did that end up happening?
Yeah.
Did that work out?
Did it happen?
And that's when did you know the graduation was happening and you chose not to go?
Yeah, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Every time.
Because why would you? It's not an achievement.
Dude,
what'd you major in?
Communication. So.
Yeah, and creative writing too. So it's like, what am I going to act like this was crazy that I pulled this off?
Here's the thing. There are certain things that people say. I've never liked a ceremony. Never. It's just never been my thing. I don't like ceremony. I've never liked weird, like an end of whatever banquet or like this is a celebration or whatever. I've never liked that. And every time you tell people you don't like that, they always say shit like, "Oh well, you're gonna regret not going, right? When you're gonna regret it if you don't. I know you don't want to go now. I know you don't want to go to your third cousin's wedding now, but if you don't go, you're gonna regret it." Not only do I not regret not going to my graduation, I think back on that unwasted day where I would otherwise be sitting in the hot sun, and I'm like, and I think about my high school graduation. I think, could have skipped it.
Yeah.
Could have skipped. Don't give a shit.
I almost would have been fine to have not graduated from high school.
Well, yeah, now you wouldn't, yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah. I always knew I was going to do stand-up anyway, and I just wanted, not that I do it professionally now, but I was going to pursue it anyway.
You keep saying that. Yes, you do.
Well, but I mean, like, I make money off I work at a comedy club, so I make money there.
And they hired you because you're good at stand-up. They didn't hire you because you're fucking good at parking cars.
Oh, sure, and all that.
In fact, I know that because you're shit at parking cars.
No, no. I'm the best at it at the store.
At the store, you're the best?
100%.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because what it takes to be a good lot guy,
But you get pissed all the time.
that's part of being a good lot guy.
Interesting.
Is you're a guy that is very like isolated and fine to just stand in a lot by themselves until somebody shows up. And the people that are bad at it, who will go unnamed, like there's one guy, he'll probably have a better career than he currently does because he's very social, and he's terrible at the lot because he's never in it. He's always having fun around the store,
Right.
doing other stuff. I love the lot because I can stand 20 feet away from all these conversations I don't want to be in and just smoke and not
What I'm
be a part of them.
saying is,
And I keep the shit tight. I get everybody out.
while you might be the best door guy at parking cars, what I'm saying is they could have just hired a professional valet,
100%.
and they didn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, they did hire me for stand-up, and that's very nice. I'm just saying I don't make
And
money
if you
off
think-
of
if
doing
you're-
shows
if you
and
think-
podcasts.
If you think you're better than these pro valets in Los Angeles, you're out of your goddamn mind.
I could hang, though.
Oh, I don't know about that, dude. There is a guy who parked my car at the sushi restaurant because they require you to get it valeted. I saw him one try back it into the tightest space I've ever seen in my entire life.
You've seen how
Windows
tight I
in.
get it?
I have seen how tight you get
I
it.
get it tight.
No, not tight enough.
Was he skinnier than me? Of
No, he was shorter and he was a little wider.
course he was. He was a valet.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the valet body.
Yeah.
But what was I saying?
You were saying you're not a professional stand-up
But
comedian.
what was
which
it?
I disagree
Why
with.
did I say that?
And also, you make money from it.
I don't know, man. I completely forgot where we were. But I don't know. I mean, you got to get fucked by a huge guy at some point in your life. You know? It's like, otherwise, I don't know.
That's kind of the whole.
Like, if you think Full Throttle, the largest looping coaster in North
We-
America, is entertaining, you ever been fucked?
With you saying that and me dressed the way I am, it sounds like you're just selling me on the podcast. It's like you need to get fucked.
No, I'm
by
saying you're a big guy. You should go find a bigger guy.
a bigger. There doesn't exist.
Come on. That's
I'm 5'10", 180 pounds. Who's bigger than me?
Find a 5'11", 185
Doesn't
pound guy.
exist. I've looked. It
and
doesn't exist.
see
I'm the
that's
biggest guy in the world.
that's like fucking being in the Civil War. That's the closest we get to Civil War nowadays. It's gay sex.
Interesting.
You know, that's fighting a battle. Are we gonna get through this? Sometimes it takes 2 days. We'll lick them tomorrow.
Dearest Martha, I write back to you in low spirits but high love.
we have been fucked.
I've been fucked for the last 2.5 days.
That would be so awesome if they fought with gay sex in the Civil War.
We fastened bayonets twice.
I wonder if anyone had sex during the Civil War.
Oh, if anyone,
like,
of course.
just like on the battlefield, it's just like so dirty and everybody's so clumped together. And if you're,
that I don't know.
what's so interesting is Grant. This is the worst thing he ever did in his entire life. It's the worst thing he ever did. So during the Civil War, there was an issue where traders from the North would keep trading with Confederate cotton growers and other people in the South that had goods, so they could keep the Northern economy flowing because they needed uniforms for the Union, but you got to get cotton for that, so you got to buy from the South. So it's this big issue where they're like, stop stimulating the South's economy, but all these guys kept doing it, and they referred to the guys that were doing that as Jews, and they were not Jewish. Not all these people were Jewish, but these traders that were betraying the Union.
It's crazy anti-Semitism was still like big back then.
I mean, literally since the dawn of Judaism.
There's been, but I mean, like specifically that obviously yes, but that specific form of anti-Semitism.
Well, that's the crazy thing about anti-Semitism is that like as there are maybe bigger, more prominent issues like with other races going on, like literal slavery, anti-Semitism is still there. It's always just there.
Let me also rephrase, like American anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And so they're referred to as Jews. And so Ulysses signed an order that banished all Jews from the area, which is a pretty common theme in the Jewish history.
Whoa. So they were just calling them that, but then Ulysses was like, all right, let's get them out of here.
Everyone that's Jewish, he said, get them out of here.
Whoa.
Which happens all the time to Jews.
Yeah.
Wherever they are, they're like, get them out of here.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what is wrong? Like, even during the Civil War, they were like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm so sorry. And it's because his dad was a businessman that kept ruining his life, and he was working with 2 Jewish businessmen. So really, it was like a petty familial thing to do. Like, which is crazy how politics can be influenced just by your own life. Is like if his father wasn't doing that, he kind of did that to spite his father. And then he banished all these Jews. But it's crazy too because,
and I'm gonna go on record. I don't know if you want to go on record right now, but I am going to go on record and say I think that's fucked up.
I also agree that is.
You
fucked
think
up.
that's fucked up?
Yeah. And Ulysses himself, like a couple months later, was like, "Gah!"
Yeah.
But the funniest part is that there were, of course, Jewish soldiers in the Union. But what's funny is there were also Jewish soldiers in the Confederacy.
Whoa.
Which means there are like Jewish Americans today whose ancestors were in the Confederacy, which is, to me is just such a funny, interesting person to be like, oh, we're Jews, but yeah, there were people committing treason to defend slavery in my family. It's like, really?
Right.
As Jewish people?
That is a roller coaster of a family history.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely insane. And yeah, no, it was a really sad time in American history. I mean, there's like a Jewish Union general who was like, dog,
yeah,
like, I've been fighting.
We were boys.
For you.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like the percentage of like Jewish Confederate
Dude,
soldiers.
it's like if you wrote an order that there's no more jacked guys allowed at the Comedy Store.
There's not a lot.
What do you mean?
Jacked guys walking around the Comedy Store.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I'm saying that not a lot of people at the Comedy Store are buff.
Okay.
I mean, you work out, you come around sometimes, but...
Yeah, what are you saying?
I'm not saying you're not jacked.
Okay, good.
Why do you get so jacked just to still wonder if people think you're jacked?
Well, I need to help them understand.
Yeah, that's why you only wear tank tops now. When was the
show
last time
them.
you wore a t-shirt?
Well, I wear them to work out, but like a t-shirt out in public.
Also, every time I see you have the flannel on, and within minutes it's off.
Well, it's important to show
It's like
people...
a decoy. It's like, oh no, I'm a normal guy. Boom.
It's a tearaway flannel. You got to have a tearaway
Yeah, it really
flannel.
is just you're going to get to the point where you're wearing tearaway track pants.
Oh, dude, I have little short shorts on
Do you want to like be buffer?
That's a great question.
Because the level you're now is you still look like a normal person.
Right, yeah.
But if you go like 5 steps higher, you start getting weird.
Yeah, no, I don't
But you have a brain that would let yourself get weird looking.
I don't think so. Here's the thing. If I ever attain a level of success in comedy to the point where like I don't have to worry about money anymore, I have a home gym and I can buy all the supplements I want.
Would you be healthier though if you did that?
No.
Right? Because you also like health too, which is kind of. I think that's kind of what keeps you safe.
No, I don't. This is such a common misconception. People think anyone who is strong is into health. It's like, no, most of them are just wrecking their bodies every day.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you're doing that. I think
Not-
a lot
no,
of
not
those
really.
guys wreck their bodies to be jacked, but you are worried about like smoking and drinking and eating, and you don't succumb to peer pressure, and it's all in the name of health. That is completely separate from the working out.
That's true. That's true. Though that's a good point. But I think it would just be if I had like unlimited money and like unlimited food money and then a home gym, good night church. I am gonna be fucking. There's gonna be a period of time where I get over 200.
Be tough to get jacked when you're on tour, though.
Yeah,
I mean, you can find gyms and stuff, but like, there's like specific gyms to get like jacked.
Yeah.
Most gyms keep you healthy.
Yeah, no, you
But,
need
like-
a gym. You need a gym where it's like mismatched dumbbells, but they go up to like 500. They go up to a weight that a human being has never lifted before.
Yeah.
That's what you want for the dumbbell wrap. You want an old preacher curl machine, and you want a.
Is that like this?
Yeah, it like locks your
I would do those.
elbows into place. Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
go
yeah.
to the gym with my grandpa. I'd do that.
You want an old preacher curl machine, and you want a guy who is still wearing Zumba pants from the 80s and a headband.
Yeah, you do want that. I need to find another trainer that was like my 85-year-old grandfather. because he was the best. At one point in my life, he just decided he was going to teach me how to run.
Yeah.
And so we would not only run, we would do specific running training. So he'd be like, this week we're going to the track. We're going to do fartleks to increase your cardio.
Yeah.
This day we're going to go to the gym and we're just going to work out in general. The gym wasn't so specific working out, but it was also like, work the calves or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we would go for like regular, just sort of long distance runs. But he was also 85.
Yeah.
Something about that I like, because an 85-year-old will jack you up in the way it's not like a young trainer who's like, you ready? He's like, all right, here's what we're going to do. No, it's like having a farmer teach you, which he was. So
dude, this is the worst thing about the like whatever personal training market or whatever you want to call it, is there is such an emphasis put on how jacked the person is who is teaching you these things.
I don't need that.
Well, number one,
you need a guy that knows stuff.
That's probably not your goal, right? Being 300 pounds of muscle. Number two, there's so many things like genetics and predisposition that go into that sort of thing. And number three, it's just it's literally called appeal to authority. It is a literal logical fallacy that you are committing by being like, oh, well, I don't want to be. It's like, a guy who's like heavier can still have knowledge. Like, those are not mutually exclusive things.
Yeah, you could be like 400 pounds but still give me a solid regimen.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandpa was just good at running, so he knew what he was talking about.
It's like, oh, I need my basketball coach to be able to dunk. It's like, no, you don't.
No. I'll tell you what, I think I'm gearing up for a growth spurt. I think I got a big growth spurt in my future. I don't, but for some reason I'm able to eat so much more than I have been in the last few years.
Oh, good for you, dude.
Last night I had a humongous plate of chicken and pasta with a bunch of cheese and butter, and then I had a full-size plate of all salad. And then after that, I ate like a kilo of almonds, and then I ate like 2 snack bars. And I don't know where all this is coming from, but I can just house food.
I think that's a good thing.
But I'm like gaining weight.
You should.
But I don't know why.
Skinny. You should gain a little weight.
I'm getting rounder. I don't like it. I want to be gaunt.
No, don't be gaunt. This is bullshit.
I want to go to a trainer and be like, how do I look like I do meth? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that would really piss a trainer off. You should do that.
I really want to go be like, I really just want like 0 body fat, but like not really any muscle either.
We should go eating after this. Can we go eating?
You want to go eating?
Yeah, do you want to go eating after this?
You're saying it in a different way than get lunch, though.
What do you
mean something specific?
Yeah, we'll go eating.
You're saying going eating like we're gonna eat crazy.
No, well, it's not. It's not really going to lunch. It's we're going eating. Going to lunch is like you sit at one place and you get a big plate. No, we're gonna go eating, dude.
You want to go to like a food festival?
No,
like eat multiple things.
You can go eating at a food festival, yeah, but you can also just go eating around.
Is this a term you use?
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and lunch?
Get some here, get some there, meal, boom, 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 boom,
I don't
boom.
think I have that kind of cash right now.
I'll spot
To
you.
go eating like
Let's go
that.
eating. Come on, live a little.
I think I was also high. I don't know. I think it's that munchies that's getting me.
Damn, dude, come on.
I had a good night. I did stand up. I got high, then I watched Sebastian
your
Maniscalco be
hands
so
are-
good at doing stand
Your
up.
hands are so sweaty.
Yeah, I'm sweaty right now. It's hot in here
Oh,
because I got so much tea.
yeah, you're
Talking to a high tea guy, which I didn't know.
Oh, that's tea sweat right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we combine this with the first 22 minutes, which hopefully we've kept, if we haven't, this is enough of a podcast.
Oh,
But-
can I plug my stuff real quick?
Yeah, of course. Plug your stuff.
My arm is like 30 inches around. My hip to waist ratio is like 2-to-1. What else? Over 40 inches on the chest.
I'd probably do like podcast show dates.
Oh, okay. I'm Danswers Podcast.
This isn't like a bodybuilding thing.
No, I know, but I just like to kind of give my stats.
Who do you think's watching?
Anyone I
I'll
want.
tell you who's watching. Sam Lindsay, AJ O'Connell. That's who's watching
Oh,
this.
that's awesome. What's up, boys?
And then whatever 28 to 35-year-old women are your fans,
yeah, well, we'll see.
which was our only fan base on the last podcast we had.
Nothing wrong with that.
That was it.
That's fine.
I loved them. They were good supporters.
Well, I love everyone who's ever listened to this podcast. Keep supporting Cooper. Give him a kiss.
Thanks so much for tuning in. I love you.